If most of your day and your mood is determined by whether someone acknowledges you, sends you a text, how their behavior is, you're feeding off of their energy, then you're putting them in a position of power. If that is determining your sense of worth, your value, and therefore your mood and what you believe about yourself, you have that person on a pedestal, especially in a significant other, especially in a love relationship. You need to stop doing this. That's where you hear the common phrase, kick them off the pedestal. You need to take that person off of the pedestal and put yourself on a pedestal. You have made that person so important in your life that their mood, their text, their acknowledgement, whatever kind of day they're going to have will determine the kind of day you're going to have. Do you see the flawed thinking in this? Here is where you get to decide. You are the operant power in your reality. You're the main character in your story. You're the main actor in your movie. You're the writer, producer. You get to decide. You've heard that analogy before. Take your power back. Kick them off the pedestal and decide. Whatever mood they have, whatever they do, doesn't matter because you get to decide who you are. And at first, as you break this pattern and you start to do something different, it won't feel natural to you because you're breaking that pattern. You're interrupting the pattern and creating new beliefs and new habits about yourself, surrounding yourself, involving yourself. But the more you do this and you repeat it over and over and over until it feels natural, until it is natural, until it is who you are and you're operating from this identity, from this story, that you are the center of your universe. You are the main character. You love yourself. You value yourself. You know your worth. You validate yourself. And whether he's in a good mood, bad mood, sends you a text, doesn't matter because you're going to have a great day because you determine your great days, because you call those great days forward in your life. And your life is awesome and you love your life and you love yourself. And that's the huge shift that happens with this law of assumption. And then we start to believe bigger and better for ourselves. And the more you do this, you start to expand that bubble of belief. And you start thinking, okay, well, what if I believe better for myself? And increase and grow that bubble and believe more and assume more for myself. Because all I have to do is create it in my mind and believe it and affirm it. And it shows up in my reality. That is manifestation. That is self-concept. And you do this every day, every morning. And there may be wobbles along the way. And listen, if there's a wobble, you need to always just bring it back to you. Bring it back to you, go within, center yourself, and remind yourself of the new story, of your new self-concept, of who you are. Here's the most powerful thing. You only have the present moment, the powerful eternal now. Everything else exists in the mind. We're either thinking about the past or thinking about the future, and creating these narratives or these stories in our mind. So if you shift that story, because that's how reality works, we create a story in our mind and then we look for evidence of it in our external world. Most people are doing the opposite. They see evidence in their external reality and create a negative story around that. But here's the thing, you have the power to change that story. So in your mind, in the eternal, powerful now, create a new story of who you are. You are loved, you're valued, you're beautiful, you're amazing, you're always chosen, you have amazing days, you choose yourself, you're always respected, and you look for evidence of it. Or don't look for evidence of it, you just go about your day living from this place in your mind. You create the narrative and the story first in your mind. You get to decide who you are. You tell yourself who you are. You operate from this core belief and assume and embody the identity of the person who is already living their ideal life, irrespective of what your external reality shows you at that moment, because there is a lag before things show up in your external reality. That's manifestation. That's the world of the shadow. But once you create it in your imagination, in your mind, in the now, and you stay in those beliefs, in that energy, operating from those high frequencies, your external world will reflect it, will mirror it, will align you with experiences of the same. That is how it works in a nutshell. It's really rather simple. It's just practice. And anytime you catch yourself wobbling, you bring yourself back to that powerful moment, to that powerful now, where you get to control the now and you get to operate and decide what is true and real for you, and you get to create new stories around everything. And you practice this over and over and over until that new story is the normal for you, until the old versions of you are just distant memories that you don't even revisit, but you have no emotional attachment towards them. It's just practice. So every day, practice stepping into the new version of you until the wobbles disappear and you move forward, always expanding in the belief and the notion of who you are, because you get to decide. Another person should not have that power over you, over your identity, over your sense of value, over whether you're deserving, over your worth. They shouldn't. You get to decide who you are. And when you feel those wobbles, as you're moving through this process, practice soothing. Find ways to soothe yourself, to bring yourself back to center. Whether it's meditation, whether it's scripting, whether it's just sitting in silence and releasing. There are many techniques that you can use to bring yourself back to center, but find ways to soothe, even if it's a walk, interrupting the pattern, positive affirmations, mirror work. All of those techniques work to reprogram your subconscious mind. And the more you operate from this new identity and as this new version of you, that is what your external world will reflect. I promise you that's how it works. Anyway, thank you for joining me on Patty's World. I'm still traveling. We're in Saint-Tropez, south of France right now. And so I'm trying to keep uploading videos for you because I do keep getting feedback, and I hope you're doing well. And remember, just persist. Persist in this new story. Get clear on who you are, the ideal version of you is, and persist in the story. And your external world will mirror it. I promise you that's how it works.